Akojopo News, 88.7 FM, the people's voice.
This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Akojopo 88.7 FM. Welcome to News Around the World.
Good evening. Welcome to the news around the world on the most listened to radio station, Akojopo 88.7 FM, Ibadan. I am Olamide Badmus. First, the headlines. EFCC warns content creators against unauthorized use of name logo. Opposition parties in Nigeria converge in Ibadan, join forces for 2027 presidential bid. Women arrested after 2 young children die in Wolverhampton house fire. United States says Venezuela government can pay for Nicolas Maduro's defense. Hennessy Director General hails world-class NNL super fortress, salutes top-tier scheme changing investments. Now the details. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has warned content creators to stop using its name, logo, and likeness in skits and other media productions without approval, saying such portrayals misrepresent its operations and warning that violators will be prosecuted. In a video message shared today via its X page, the Commission said it does not endorse, sponsor, or approve any comedy, drama, or online content that uses its identity without written consent and directed the public to comply immediately. The warning comes amid earlier concerns by the Commission over rising cases of impersonation and fake sting operations by individuals posing as its officers. The EFCC had said intelligence available to it indicated that fraudsters were deploying clever but fraudulent means to tarnish its image, including tactics involving gangs operating around popular eateries and fun spots in major cities where unsuspecting youth are targeted. Opposition political parties in Nigeria have resolved to field a single presidential candidate for the 2027 general election as part of a consensus-driven strategy to improve their electoral prospects. The decision was contained in a communique issued at the end of the summit held in Ibadan. The parties also commended Nigerians for their resilience and expressed confidence in continued public support for efforts to free the country from what they described as state capture. Details of the event held at the Oyo State Government House, Bouquet Hall, Agodi, Ibadan, are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Oluwasegun Bamidele. Here is the report.
Delegates from various opposition political parties across Nigeria today converged on the newly constructed Oyo State Government Banquet Hall for a national summit aimed at fostering unity among opposition groups. The summit themed National Summit of all opposition political party leaders that we may work together for a united opposition to sustain. The summit themed National Summit for all opposition political leaders that we may work together for a united opposition to sustain our democracy brought together key stakeholders seeking a common front ahead of future elections. In a communique delivered by the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Barrister Taminu Turaki, participants resolved to rally behind a consensus presidential candidate. They said the move was necessitated by what they described as existential challenges confronting the nation and the need for urgent collective action to free Nigeria from the ruling party. The communique also called for the removal of the INEC chairman, Professor George Amokpetan, and urged the National Assembly to urgently review the Electoral Act 2026 with proposed amendments to provisions.
We shall work towards fielding one presidential candidate for the 2027 election. That all leading politicians that have been detained or harassed on bailable offenses be released immediately and be allowed to exercise their fundamental rights of participation and inclusivity as Nigerians.
Delivering his welcome address, the host governor, Engineer Oluwasegun Adesetan, expressed concern over the increasing political concentration in the party. The Oyo State governor stressed that democracy thrives on viable alternatives, noting that dominance of a single party without credible opposition risks reducing governance to a mere formality.
It is not about individual ambition, President. It is about the collective ambition of the Nigerian people to have a democracy that is properly defined. This is a gathering about something more fundamental, the survival of a system that allows Nigeria to remain open, competitive, and accountable.
In their separate remarks, key political figures, including Chairman of African Democratic Congress, Senator David Mark, and guest speaker Pat Otome, warned that Nigeria stands at a critical political crossroads. They further called on opposition stakeholders to unite under the National Rescue Mission to protect democratic institutions and restore public confidence in governance. Among top opposition figures present at the event were former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, former Osun State Governor Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. The summit also featured keynote presentations by Professor Chidi Odinikalu, Dr. Usman Bugaje, Barrister Mike Igene, and Dr. Kabil Adamu Oluwapemi Bamidele. Agidigbo FM News.
The Chairman, House Committee on Digital Information, Communication Technology, and Cybersecurity, Honorable Stanley Olajide, has urged youth in Oyo State to leverage digital skills acquired to create opportunities and contribute meaningfully to the economy. Honorable Olajide gave the charge at a Digital Literacy and Empowerment Program in collaboration with the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITA, noting that the initiative, which equipped over 200 youth, is designed to tackle unemployment.
Because the future of Nigeria depends on them, rightly so, and we have to give them all the right skills that they need for the future. So this training is just the foundation. We will build on it with other training.
The lawmaker, who said the beneficiaries were trained in various digital areas, added that the support provided should serve as a foundation for innovation and self-reliance.
Inshallah, I believe that with what we're doing with them, these young folks, we believe that the future belongs to them. Take it easy, take what you have learned with a passion, learn more, use the tools wisely, and the future is yours.
The Director General NIDA, Mr. Kashifu Inuwa, represented by Mrs. Idris Umar Farouk, urged beneficiaries to make effective use of the digital skills and opportunities provided to enhance their personal growth. The Nigerian Bar Association, Ibadan branch, has decried inadequate funding of the judiciary and non-functionality of branch tribunals as well as customary courts in the state. The chairman of the branch, Barrister Ibrahim Lawal, stated this when receiving the executives of the Correspondence Chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists for your State Council, who paid a courtesy visit to his office today in Ibadan. where he noted that the NBA executives had on several occasions appealed to Governor Sheyi Makinde to address the challenges facing the judiciary in the state, particularly the lower courts. Barrister Lawal said that the governor in the last 7 years had failed to inaugurate the presidents of the Gracie customary courts, stressing that these were the courts that brought justice to the people at the grassroots. According to the NBA branch chairman, the Gracie customary courts last operated during the administration of the late Governor Abiola Ajimobi, and that it will be the joy of the association to see the state justice sector playing its role effectively, while adding that there may not be any economic development without strengthening its justice system. Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Pelu Studio at Gidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola. At least 7 people were killed in Russian strikes across Ukraine overnight, including 5 in the central city of Dnipro, where officials said an apartment building was hit. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the latest attack lasted practically all night, while rescue workers are still searching for survivors under rubble. Ukrainian authorities confirmed to have repaired the vast majority of more than 600 Russian drones, which appears to have been the largest attack in several days. However, Russian Ministry of Defense said it had taken control of a village in the Kharkiv region. As of this morning, the village is close to Ukraine's northern border with Russia, where invading forces have made repeated attempts to push further south towards the city of Kharkiv, although Ukrainian government have not commented on Russia's claim to have gained control of the village. Police are investigating after 2 young children died in a house fire in Wolverhampton yesterday night. Officers from West Midland Police were called to the fire in Mason Street at about 8:30 p.m. yesterday. Firefighters entered the property and rescued the children, but they could not be saved and were pronounced dead at the scene. West Midland Police said they had condoned off the scene as officers worked to establish the exact circumstances of the fire. And that ends the news from Pelu Studio at Gidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola.
Welcome back. We shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya. The U.S. government has now acknowledged that Venezuela's government can now fund Nicolas Maduro's legal defense, resolving a question that had lingered over the case for weeks. In a letter filed in Manhattan Federal Court, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, said that the Treasury Department has issued amendment licenses that would allow defense lawyers for Mr. Maduro, the former president of Venezuela, and his wife, Celia Flores, to receive payment from their country's government. The department had previously blocked those payments, setting off furious protests from defense lawyers. The development comes a month after hearing in which the judge presiding over the case, Alvin Elliston, sharply questioned the government as to why the funds were being blocked. The judge even suggested that if the United States did not change course, he might consider dismissing the case, a suggestion that had been made by a lawyer for Mr. Maduro, Barry J. Pollard. Insurgents launched attack in Mali's capital and other locations across the country on Saturday, with the army urging people to remain calm as the military-led government faced one of the biggest operations yet in a long campaign against it. A UN security note reported simultaneous complex attacks in Kati, near Bamako's airport, as well as in several northern locations, including Mopti, Gao, and Kidal. The U.S. Embassy in Mali advised its citizens to shelter in place as situation unfolded. Shortly before 6 a.m., 2 explosions and sustained gunfire were heard near Kati, home to Mali's main military base, just north of the capital, Bamako. More than 4 hours later, gunfire continued to echo through the area while army helicopters circled overhead. Mali has been grappled with persistent insurgency carried out by West African affiliates of Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. And that ends the news from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Sonya.
Welcome back once again. Now in the exciting world of sports. The Director General of the National Sports Commission, Honorable Bukola Olopade, has commended the Nigerian National League (NNL) board under the leadership of Mr. George Aluo for staging what he described as a classy and world-class NNL Super 4 draw in Lagos, while praising top-tier sports management for its transformative investment in the league. The NNL continues to cement its place as the most important league in the country, serving as the critical bridge between the Nigeria Premier Football League and the Nationwide League One, and with its focus on youth development and competitive structure, the NNL remains a proven pipeline for producing players for Nigeria's age-grade national teams. Honorable Olopade, who led a strong delegation of sport administrators to the NNL Super Four Dress, expressed delight at the level of organization on display while describing the occasion as a new benchmark for Nigerian football. The Director General reserved special praise for the league's private partners, crediting them for the visible transformation, and also reaffirmed that the Commission will continue to do its best to ensure that the Nigerian sports industry becomes a force to be reckoned with across the globe. All roads now lead to Ikenne, Ogun State, where the NNL Super 4 will hold from 4th to 8th of May 2026 at the Remo Star Stadium, where the four newly promoted MPFL sides, Doma United, Sporting Lagos, Inter Lagos, and Ranchers Bees, will compete for the 10 million naira prize and the title of NNL 2025-2026 overall champions. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. EFCC warns content creators against unauthorized use of name, logo. Opposition parties in Nigeria converge in Ibadan, join forces for 2027 presidential bid. Women arrested after two young children die in Wolverhampton house fire. United States says Venezuelan government can pay for Nicolas Maduro's defense. NSC Director General hails world-class NNL Super 4 draws, salutes top year's game-changing investments.
Don't forget